Medusa, the cursed beauty. Have you ever wondered if beauty could lead to a curse? The story begins from Medusa, the most beautiful Gorgon. In a time long before the world took the shape we know today, the gods of Olympus sat upon their golden thrones, ruling over the fate of mortals and mystical beings alike. Among them there existed 3 strange and terrifying sisters, whose names were whispered in fear by travelers and warriors, the Gorgons. These 3 sisters were legendary and powerful, unlike many of the monstrous creatures of Greek mythology. They were immortal and untouchable, all except one. Medusa, the youngest and most beautiful of them, was different. Unlike her elder sisters, Stheno and Euryale, she was mortal. Her sisters were born as fearsome creatures, their skin covered in scales, their teeth as sharp as daggers, and their eyes capable of turning anyone to stone. But Medusa, she was unlike them in every way. Medusa was not a monster. She was a mortal girl, breathtakingly beautiful. Her golden hair shone like threads of sunlight. Her eyes sparkled like the endless sea, and her skin was as soft as the petals of spring blossoms. Among the 3, she was the only one who could feel love, fear, pain, and ultimately, death. But fate is the cruelest storyteller. Worshipped by mortals and admired by gods, Medusa unknowingly walked toward her doom. One fateful day, she sought refuge in a sacred place she should never have entered, the temple of Athena. In that hallowed temple, where the goddess of wisdom and war watched from her marble statues with unfeeling eyes, an event took place that would forever alter Medusa's destiny. Poseidon, god of the raging seas, had long set his sights on Medusa. Some say she loved him, while others claim she was merely a victim, but the result was the same. That night, in the dark shadows of Athena's temple, cries echoed through the halls, and the sanctity of the sacred place was shattered. And Athena, she was furious not at Poseidon but at Medusa. To her, this mortal girl had not only defiled her temple, but had also dared to possess a beauty that even the gods could not resist. In a moment of divine wrath, Athena cast her curse upon Medusa, and the temple trembled. Her golden hair twisted and coiled, turning into living serpents that slithered and hissed, whispering against her skin. Her once tranquil eyes became hollow and cursed, and anyone who gazed into them was doomed to turn into stone. Her soft, delicate body was now covered in hardened, gleaming scales. A scream erupted from her throat, but it was no longer a cry of fear. It was the birth cry of a monster. Medusa, once a mortal girl, had become a creature feared by all. Banished to a desolate land, she found herself in a dark cave, where only shadows and silence kept her company. Her sisters, Stheno and Euryale, who had always been monsters, joined her, but they could never understand her pain. They had always been this way, but Medusa? She remembered being human. She remembered being beautiful. And now she was nothing more than a legend murmured in nightmares. Years passed. Many warriors, driven by ambition and glory, sought Medusa, believing they could claim her head as a trophy. But none returned. Each one was transformed into a lifeless statue, forever frozen in fear. No man could defeat the cursed Gorgon until one day the hero Perseus was sent on a mission by King Polydectes to bring back Medusa's head. With the help of Hermes and Athena, Perseus was given divine gifts: a reflective shield that acted as a mirror, a blade sharp enough to cut through anything, winged sandals to fly, and a magical pouch to carry Medusa's severed head. Armed with these gifts, he ventured into the Gorgon's lair. Medusa lay asleep, her serpentine hair eerily still. Perseus, careful not to meet her gaze, used the reflection in his shield to guide his strike. With a swift and merciless slash, he severed her head. From her blood, two mythical beings were born: Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaia, the golden warrior. Though Medusa had perished, her power did not fade. Even in death, her head remained a weapon of great destruction. Perseus carried it in the magical pouch, using it to turn his enemies into stone. Eventually, Athena placed Medusa's head upon her shield, the Aegis, as a symbol of fear and divine power. Medusa, once the most beautiful of mortals, had now become the ultimate emblem of terror and vengeance. Fate had been unkind, but Medusa's name became eternal, not as a monster but as a victim of the gods' cruelty, a woman punished for her beauty, a being transformed into a nightmare, yet still powerful enough to haunt the gods and heroes even in death. Think Medusa's curse was fair? Leave a comment and subscribe to Heavenly Stories for more epic tales, and let's dive into history's mysteries together.